Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us for this week's Techy Tuesday. We have Krista Campbell from Albany High School joining us, and she's going to share how to be engaged in the blended learning classroom. So, Krista, I'm going to go ahead and share your presentation if you want to click on it. Any questions you have, please drop them in the comment box, and we will make sure that we get them asked. And we also have a presentation link that I will throw up here in just a moment. Remember, this presentation will live here. So if you miss something and you need to see it again, you can come back to the same exact link and watch it as many times as you need to. All right, so here we go, presentation. And there we go.
Hi, everybody. Like she said, my name is Krista Campbell, and I'm here to share with you about using Nearpod in your classroom and how you can engage students with that. Just a little about me. Again, my name is Krista. This is my 16th year in the classroom. I've taught at Walker High, Albany Middle, and I'm currently at Albany High School. I left my email address there for you. I would love to hear from you. So what is Nearpod? Nearpod is actually an interactive platform similar to PowerPoint or Google Slides that allows you as a teacher to monitor student understanding during the presentation. So everything can be done on the computer. So the first question is that a lot of teachers ask is, do I have to recreate presentations that I already have? I don't want to use Nearpod because I've already done so much on PowerPoint or so much on Google Slides. The answer to that is no, you do not have to recreate anything. All of your PowerPoints, all of your Google Slides can just be uploaded and used in Nearpod. Some of the benefits of Nearpod, I went ahead and wrote out some of these, just a few things that teachers have asked, why should I use this? First of all, there's a simple presentation delivery. You can create presentations directly in Nearpod, or you can drag and drop existing slides, PDFs, PowerPoints. You can even use videos. You can use any kind of virtual reality websites. You can put those straight into Nearpod. You can select from countless interactive activities and formative assessments. They're already there for you. You can just embed them in your presentation. And presentations are beamed to any student device with internet access. So the computers in your classroom or students' phones or tablets or whatever. This also allows for differentiated instruction. You can isolate the use of the presentation to one child or to a small group. Let's say that you have a group of students who are struggling with a concept. You can actually embed extra practice for them and give them a separate code than you would give another student. Or you can switch that and challenge those higher performing students with some different activities. And so this allows you to differentiate by giving these students different codes. It also gives you the opportunity for live formative assessment. In Nearpod, you can create custom quizzes, polls, open-ended questions, all sorts of things, and actually see where your students are and what they understand in real time. You don't have to wait to collect their exit tickets and then read them after they leave, or wait until they turn in the paper. You can see it as they're doing it. And then as you read that, if you need to make an adjustment in your instruction, you can do that. It will allow you for modeling. Nearpod has a feature called Draw It, and it gives every student an interactive whiteboard. And so you can ask a question. The teacher can see all the student work at one time on their device. And then if one student does an activity particularly well and you would like for that student to model, you can actually share that drawing on every student's device. So every student would see that. One thing that is new that I really like is here at the high school level, we have to teach virtual students and in-person students simultaneously. And so with Nearpod, you can actually send them a presentation through Google Classroom, and these presentations are student-paced. So students can access it, like I said, from any device that has an internet connection and go through the presentation and do the assessment activities embedded in the presentation from wherever they are. And then they do offer a Nearpod library that has some pre-made resources that you can use. So you don't have to recreate everything. You can look through their library. If there's a skill or a concept that they have that you are covering, you can see what they have. You can take things out that you don't like. You can add your own things. You can customize it. So using Nearpod is very simple. When you first get onto the website, I suggest you sign in with Google Classroom. It gives you the option to sign in with Google. If you do that, your Nearpod is automatically connected to your Google Classroom. There's also a Google Slides add-on. So if you go to Google Slides and go to the add-on tab at the top, you can select the Nearpod add-on, and anytime you create a Google Slides presentation, you can pull up that add-on and you have the option there to select and to insert those tools right there. When you first open Nearpod and you log in, you're going to come to a dashboard, and on that dashboard, you'll see the Nearpods that you've created, and there'll be several options there. The only thing is to keep in mind is that when you present, you have to present through Nearpod. You have to log in, you have to present through Nearpod. So you can use existing PowerPoints, existing Google Slides and PDFs, but you can't present through, like, for example, you cannot present through Google Slides. You would have to go through Nearpod to do that. For your students, they would need to go to join.nearpod.com. They would enter the code that you give them and then follow the on-screen instructions. It's very simple for students to use. So what I'm going to do is I have pulled up the Nearpod website here for you. And we have here, this is the dashboard that I was talking about. So once you create an account or once you log in, this is what you'll see. Over here, you'll see the lessons that you've created. You'll see a tab that says reports, and this is where you get your student performance. Oh, I clicked on that. And now the internet is acting slow, and I click on that. Oh. While we're waiting for that, do y'all have any questions? I know that first part was kind of fast.
We have not had any questions yet, but we did have a teacher say that they did not realize that all the features that they have that are available. So that's really amazing because they really have brought a lot more features into it that are free now that used to be paid features because they do have two different types of accounts. So that's just wonderful that you're sharing all of the newer features that there is in the Nearpod. And I think you pulled up now.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So over here on the reports tab, I won't click on it, but on the reports tab, you can actually get reports on student performance for different interactive activities that you put in there. You can see how they're doing. The next tab is the Nearpod Library. And that's actually where I got this lesson from. So when you pull this up, you'll see this create tab up here, and it will allow you to create a new lesson or to create in Google Slides, and it opens Google Slides for you, okay? The internet here is acting a little weird, so I'm not going to click on that and show it to you, but that's what that's for. If you go right here, I'm gonna show you the file that I have here. So when you scroll across it, you have the option for a live participation or a student paced. So the live participation is what you would use if you're in the classroom with your students. Student paced is virtual or what they would do for homework. So for live participation, if you click on there, it's going to give you a code. And again, we're going to be slow, I guess.
You know it's only slow because you want it to move quickly. Like that's how this works, you know?
I'm going to split screen it with a student, what the students would see.
There we
as
go.
soon as it comes up. Okay. There we go. So you would see the code, your students, and this is the code that you would give your students. So your student would enter the code, hit join. They're going to ask for a student name. That's just simply for your identification purposes. They don't store it or anything. My son is already on here, so I'm going to use his name. And this is what the student sees over here on the right. This is what the teacher sees over on the left. And so the teacher, in a live presentation setting, the teacher controls the student device. So as you see, I advance the slide, and then it advances on what the student sees. This would be an example of an interactive slide. So this is a draw slide, and you would, the student has to create a box plot to display the data shown. So they can come down here. There's a number of tools down at the bottom. We're gonna go with blue. Let's see, change the color here. And we're gonna draw on it. I don't really know what I'm doing. So as a student, I have drawn on it and I hit submit. And it shows on the teacher side that the student's answer has been submitted. And it shows this on the student side until the teacher advances the slide. So if the teacher is waiting for other students to submit, then that's all that every student would see. Now, the teacher actually gets this option. If they click on a student's example and they want to share it, they can actually share it, and it would go to every student device. If they continue to advance the slide to the next one, you see it changes on the student side, what the student sees. Here's a quiz option. So the student here can answer the quiz and go to the next question. And here the teacher sees how the students do. The next slide is a poll. Here's a question for the student. And the teacher can see the answers here. And there's the end. And so when you get to the end, the student is at the end of it, and they can close it out. And they're done. On the teacher side, you would just hit this little arrow if you want to go back, or go to this Nearpod right here and hit end session. And you want to end it for everybody. And that would bring you back to the beginning. So like I said, I've enjoyed using Nearpod. My students really like it. They like being able to use the student devices. They like that I can see their, assess where they are in real time and give them real-time feedback. They like being able to see student samples. They ask, they like it because it's cool. They ask to use it. Not often do we hear students asking to use a certain strategy, but with Nearpod, it has so many, and there's so much variety that students really enjoy it. So that's all I have for you today. I would love to know how you're using Nearpod in your classroom. I'll put my email address there again for you. So shoot me an email and let me know how you're using it.
Absolutely. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Krista. So quick question for you, just because, kind of going through and seeing the ways that you're using this, what would probably be your favorite, I guess, tool within Nearpod that you would use for formative assessment?
There is actually a collaboration feature that'll allow students to collaborate. So I can put kind of an open-ended question there, and it allows the teacher to see, you have the option, right? You can just automatically have students' answers appear, or you can set it to where they have to get teacher approval before they appear, but all the answers would appear kind of like Padlet, but I like the fact that it's all within one presentation and all within one like a presentation, so that students don't have to do a lot of clicking. It's not real click heavy.
That's good, not real click heavy. And then you said something about, being able to provide that feedback in real time. How are you doing that with this sort of platform?
Well, with the quizzes and even with the polls and things like that, you can see immediately, ask a couple of questions. You can see how students do on the quizzes, and then in real time, because like I showed you, you can see that automatically. If they didn't understand a concept, you can go back, hey, students, we did not do so well on this concept. We don't obviously understand this, so let's try again.
Gotcha. So if I don't know if there's a way to do this, but like say with the draw it type thing, the student submits it and you can see right then and there that they missed the boat on it. Is there a way to send that back to them and say, without having to call them out and say, hey, I need you to redo this? Or is that more sort of a, hey, I'm going to walk around and maybe say, you might want to look at this one again? What would your way of doing that?
I would do more of a walk around, make it more personal. I think having that one-on-one conversation with the student is more beneficial. It would also help to build that relationship, and make it more personal. They don't see it as threatening.
Very much so. All right. Well, we just want to thank you again for taking time to put together this presentation and share with teachers everywhere that how you use this sort of thing. And we just had a question come in. Is there a feature similar to Zoom to view the students' faces?
Yeah, there's actually on your presentation, there's a link that says live presentation and Zoom. And so you can click on that and it'll do both.
That's cool. That's really neat. So, and that's a free feature. That's not a paid feature. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know sometimes it takes a little bit to ruminate over what you've learned and kind of let all that information soak in. So watch this, look through the presentation. Again, there is a copy of the link in the chat as well as in the notes at the bottom of the video. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Krista, and hey, share out with us what you're doing, and send us pictures and stuff. We would love to share it out on the LPPS Technology Facebook page and Twitter. You can email it to me, heather.white@lpsb.org, or lynn.kennedy. So anything that you need, please let us know, and we are going to go ahead and sign off for today. I want to thank you again, Krista, and we will catch you next week, where Carlos is going to lead us in talking about continuing blended learning in your schools. And this is sort of aimed more at your leaders and stuff in the schools, but it would probably be really good for teachers to listen to as well. So thanks again for joining us, and y'all have a great afternoon.